We don't have it.
Got the mics plugged in? Good to go?
Mic plugged in. Facebook, how are you, kids? Get hooked in, ready to rock and roll. Share the broadcast, and we will jump off the new show.
That's right.
Let me go here. Okay.
Doing it at the same time.
Oh my goodness, everyone.
This is nice, all this dead air.
Yeah,
Pretty
right?
good, huh?
It's great. It's great television. Let me tag you real quick.
Oh, so I just shared it on my page, so I'm good to go.
Got you there. Okay. Bring that up. You ready?
Let's do it.
Okay, we're good to go. Didn't even do that. 3, 2. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Welcome to the very first Forefathers podcast, the KCP Forefathers podcast. I am your host, Will. I remembered my name today, joined as always by my good friend, Wes.
Right here I am.
He is to my left. We are in the secret underground bunker. Today we are starting, we've been playing around with the new kind of lineup, the new show that we wanted to launch for a little bit now, going into spring, summer, and whatnot. That is a little more dad focused, a little not that the moms out there can't watch and enjoy it, because they certainly can, but this is going to be a little bit more along our lines of well, not our lines, but the dad line of things.
Yep.
And so we it won't be politics, that kind of stuff, more sports, more dad type stuff, food.
Yes.
Food, food is always going to be a big part of what we do here at anything related to KCP. But we got some fun segments. We've got all that kind of fun stuff. But as always, we want to start off with something good that has happened to us since we broadcast last, which, if you have not checked out the remote broadcast that we're doing for actual KCP, Kinetic Chaos Podcast, that is on Mondays. Monday evening, we usually live stream on our YouTube channel, which you can find on our page. There's a link to it. And that's our hard hitting one, if you want to call it that. More serious. This one not so much. Although there may be a time and a place that we will bring up some serious subjects, but by and large, this is going to be the fun time. So, what do you got going on? What's going on good in the West life?
That my daughter lost her fourth tooth.
Fourth,
yeah, number four. Fourth? Yeah, and it sounds like that too, because they're all the front teeth. So she's got the big gaping hole up front now. And there's I think number 5 is loose too. And she's, you hear about, at least I always hear about the kids that are like freaked out about it's gonna hurt or whatever. No, she just goes in there. She wants it out. She wants to rip it out.
Has she taken one out herself?
Yes, I think
nice.
2. Well, 2. She's lost 2 at home and 2 at school. So the ones at home, she yanked herself, and I'm assuming the ones at school, she probably did too. She gets in there and starts fiddling and just starts yanking, and out it comes. So
it's the world's biggest hangnail, basically.
Yeah.
That
can't leave it alone. Yeah.
No, you get the hangnail and you start picking at it and all that good stuff, and then you're kind of like, oh, okay, that, and then it starts bleeding, and it's back here around your knuckle and
down to your wrist.
Yeah, pretty soon you look like you've been slicing your wrist, but you've been fiddling with a hangnail. But that's you get that last couple of I don't know, it's not tendons or anything, but the last
threads.
Yeah, threads, and it's just like flopping almost in the wind or something like that, and so it's one of those where, I'm the exact same way. And Derek did the same thing. Brandon, I think he might have done one, but the boys, you have that age where and it kind of depends on the kid, where it feels like the chiclets are literally falling out of the package.
Yeah.
And so it's fun, and the tooth fairy is a very important part of any 5, 6, 7 to 9-year-old life.
What's awesome is she takes her tooth fairy money and gives it back to us so we can buy her something.
You buy it for her? She doesn't choose herself? Or, I mean, you just go somewhere? Or?
Yeah. So she kind of wants it almost to be like a present. Like she wants us to save the money and go buy her some surprise present kind of thing. So,
okay. Well, no, I can get behind that. Just surprise me, Dad. And here's the $5 or the tooth fairy. Now, does the tooth fairy start to get like a reduction in her rate the more the teeth come? Because the first one is a big deal. That's like a 5 spot at least.
Yeah, I forgot to ask...
The tooth fairy?
The tooth fairy. How much she left. I forgot to ask my daughter how much the tooth fairy left her on this last one. So
when did she lose it?
2 days ago?
2 days ago?
I think 2 days ago.
So she's just fully everything. It's just whistling.
Big lisp and the whole thing. Yeah.
Isn't that fun?
Yeah.
See, these are the times where you want to get the old recorder out or whatever and just, have her read like the Declaration of Independence or something. Just so that you can hear that sound.
Yeah.
That's a good time. Well, for me, I'm very surprised you actually didn't take this one. Today's opening day.
Yeah.
Today's opening day of baseball. I'm very excited. As you can see, Wes and I are supporting if you're watching live on the Facebook channel, for those of you that are listening to the podcast, I'll paint the picture. I am in full Yankee regalia. I've got the hat, and I've got the 2009 World Championship shirt that my sister sent me from Yankee Stadium, and my Yankee jacket that a guy I knew gave me. And so many years ago, I never would have fit into this at all. It would have been like fat guy in a little Yankee jacket. But now Wes, to my left, for those that are listening, is in his favorite Cardinals shirt from, I don't know, circa 96-ish?
No, this is a Molina shirt, so he wasn't there in 96. Okay. So a little newer than that, yeah.
Yachty, is he still there?
You bet.
You betcha. So we'll let's get into the baseball stuff to begin with, because that's one of the things that I have here on my notes is opening day. We kind of covered it, I think, last week or the week before. The baseball was almost here, that we had the faux beginning of the season with the Mariners sweeping, if you will, the Athletics over in Japan for Ichiro's final 2 games of his career, which I thought that was, we talked about this, but I thought that was pretty cool for him to be able to have that opportunity.
Yeah, I agree.
And that's cool. I don't necessarily want to see more games over in Japan.
I'm not a fan of that, especially when you have the false start opening day like a week ahead of everybody else. That's kind of lame. I mean, I understand because you got the time change and all the travel. I understand why they do that, but it feels like just like a big letdown. You got a couple games and let's just put everything on hold for another week.
And I don't know that we even get into the time change and stuff, because they came back and they played more spring training.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
And so it wasn't like they weren't playing games.
Yeah.
They were still out there on the field busting their rear ends and whatnot. Well, I don't know. It's spring training, so it's kind of that is the beer league of the Major League Baseball.
Play a couple innings and go play golf afterwards.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah. It's like, okay, well, I got 2 at bats in. I went 1 for 2. I BS'd with the first baseman a little bit, and then he and I are going to go hit the links afterwards and try not to drink too many Miller Lights, because it seems like I don't know why, but Major League Baseball players for some reason have terrible taste in beer. They're always drinking like Natty Light or something like that. I just can't get behind it. But as we look towards the baseball season and whatnot, if we're thinking about the baseball season as it is, which is very long, 6 months long, goes till the end of September, what is your favorite month of the baseball season?
Wow. I don't know.
I wish you guys could have seen, if you're listening, the look on Wes's face when I just dropped that on him.
Because obviously the first month is good because baseball is finally here. You're excited. It's nice and new and fresh for the season. But then the stretch run is also awesome in September because you got the playoff races and stuff like that. So I don't know. It's a toss-up to me between the first opening, couple weeks when the excitement's still, 100%. Yeah. And then when you're coming down the stretch for the playoffs, I like that too. So yeah.
Well, I think that we, as fans of the game, the fact that we've waited so long to get it back in our lives, I think that can help April in the runnings for which one is the best month for baseball, but I've got to go with September because you are, but that's the one thing about baseball with so many games is that, you could have a really, really tight race in September, but usually there is there's a little bit of distance between most teams until you get to those play-in games or the one game and
the wild card.
The wild card thing though, and what do you think about that?
Not a fan.
Neither am I.
No.
To go from 162 games down to one just seems so ridiculous.
Yeah.
At least give them 3 games.
Right.
That's what has always surprised me because, if you're in your rotation, if you're looking at the possibility of that, you've got to set your rotation up weeks in advance.
Right.
But then how does that impact your run towards the wild card?
The last several games before you get there.
Yeah, because you obviously want your ace out there.
Yeah.
You want them on the mound for the wild card game, but you also need to take advantage of them as many times as possible leading into that. So, when it comes to that, there's no reason we can't tack 2 games onto that, and at least it gives you a little bit of a chance to fade those anomalies that baseball is famous for, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's that. You have your, every year we've got that 20-run game, or you've got the 5-error game, and it can happen while you're in that wild card game. So
And speaking of that, we had a record set today
already
in baseball already. The most home runs hit by a team on opening day was set today by the Dodgers. Hit 8 homers today.
Are you kidding me? Who did they play?
Not the Padres. Shoot, I can't remember now. But hit 8 homers. Set an opening day record.
That is, you may want to go back to spring training after that one and maybe shake off the rust a little bit. That's the way I kind of look at that is, that 8 home runs in any game, let alone the first one.
Bringing it up. Oh, they played the Diamondbacks, who aren't that hot, so that makes sense.
Well, the one thing that really always, kind of yanks my chain at the beginning of the baseball season is when they put the averages up in the second week. Like, the guy's hitting 0.91.
Yeah.
It's like, well, he's had 8 at-bats.
Exactly.
Okay, he's on, you're not even in a slump buster, but the one thing about baseball that I always kind of admire, for lack of a better word, of the players is the fact that, like we've talked about in the past, what a grind the season really can be. Yep. And to go to the ballpark at noon and not leave until, a lot of times midnight.
Yeah.
Because the game, if it starts at 7, it's not over until 10 or 10:30 usually.
By the time you shower and eat some food there in the clubhouse or whatever, you're not leaving until midnight.
Well, and if you're at the Yankee clubhouse where, the real teams are, you're eating, lobster and steak and stuff like that.
That's right.
I thought that was something. Yeah, we talked about that a couple of weeks ago. Well, we didn't win the Powerball, Wes.
No.
What the hell are we going to do?
Well, and I kind of not surprised because we spaced out and didn't even buy a ticket.
You didn't buy a Powerball ticket when it was $750 million. Do you have is there a line at which you will honestly go and make an effort at buying?
It's usually when it gets sniffing this area, like 700 plus kind of thing. We usually go for it. We just got sidetracked with so much stuff going on. We just kind of spaced out on it. But yeah.
Well, they usually, because it used to be kind of like the 100 million number. I mean, that was a big deal for those, the multi-state lotteries, and now it's that it damn near starts at that. I think Powerball starts at like 50 or 60 million. And so you go, you've got 2 drawings a week for Powerball. Within a few weeks, you're already well over 100 million. So that's we've possibly talked about this, but would you go annuity or full lump?
I kicked that back and forth.
We did the math on it. I figured that if you took the annuity would be like $37.5 million a year for 20 years, and then the lump you would probably net. I believe my number was $200 million after taxes, and your you're losing half of it for taking it.
And I was going to say right now, I'm pulling up the article I read earlier because they did announce there was a single winner from Wisconsin. And Wisconsin has...
Imagine the cheese.
Yeah, no kidding. Wisconsin has it's not there anymore. Oh, there it is. Wisconsin has a state income tax.
Really?
So it would put them in the top state income tax bracket. And I forget what the percentage was.
Anyway, so I think it's probably around $15,000 a year.
So long story short, the Powerball was for $768 million, and if the winner takes the lump sum, it kicks it down to $477 million.
Okay.
And then after Wisconsin state and federal taxes, they would walk away with $292.
$292.
So yeah, from a $768, you get $292 out of it.
Okay, so what percentage of that are you taking and investing, and what are you lighting on fire? And if somebody hands you $300 million, let's just round it up for the ease of math. What are you lighting on fire, and what are you setting aside? Because that's obviously generational money. So what are you setting aside?
I'd say you set aside at least 2/3 to 3/4, somewhere in that range.
So you're saying out of the 300, you would park 200.
Park 200, yeah.
Yeah, I think I could probably get around that. Because I've always said that I would have to have, I'd probably have like 6 or 7 houses in various locations around the United States. I'd have, we'd have to have that one in Manhattan, and we'd have to go, I'd probably do 2 on the coast, 1 in Washington, 1 in Oregon, Bend, Aspen, or Vail, just because, what the heck. Thank you. Where's your first purchase for, real estate wise, if you're going to get into it?
I'd definitely buy something in Hawaii.
Oh, really? Yeah. I didn't, that didn't even cross my mind, because I'd have to PJ over there.
You got it. That's done deal. You buy yourself a Boeing business jet, and you got it made.
See, that's one of the things, though, that I would wonder about is, is that enough to justify a private jet? Because I think you could probably get into a private jet for $5 to $10 million.
Yeah, and then or you could do the old timeshare thing with the private jets, like the net jet thing kind of thing, where that way your maintenance is taken care of. You don't have to worry about all that kind of junk. That stuff's taken care of for you. So, but yeah.
But there's something to having your own plane, and like when you're at that status, I mean, that's like
might as well, yeah.
Because then you can personalize it. You can put in like a soda fountain if you wanted, maybe a cotton candy machine. Yeah. Just, your standard private jet stuff. We're not on the who was it that had that jet you were talking, a 37, that they had decked out completely with like, diamond encrusted ceiling.
That's pretty big over in the Middle East with all the Saudi princes have their own private full-size jets.
Yeah, it's like a 787 or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
The amount of money they throw around is just... Yeah. I mean, they make Master P look like he's a pauper. Well, one of the things that I wanted to kind of start here that I thought would be fun was to read our horoscopes.
Oh, wow.
For the week. Not for the day, but for the week. In doing so, and in doing the requisite research for said horoscope, I discovered that your birthday is in June. So you're a Cancer. Indeed. I'm a Leo. Knowing that you're a Cancer, that answers a lot of questions about you. Do you ever check your horoscope?
Negative.
You've never? Have you ever? Or have you?
Like maybe once, like 10 years ago.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll start with yours. And for those that don't know, Cancers are from June 21st to July 30 or July 21st, 22nd, somewhere around there. So this is for Wes.
Mid-month, yep.
Are you ready to be in the spotlight with the sun now at high noon in your chart, Wes? Your chart.
All right.
It's time to promote your message or business. Enjoy the limelight because this is your opportunity to make your mark. So far, it kind of sounds like a Tony Robbins
sounds like a sales pitch.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. On Tuesday, that was 2 days ago, Delectable Venus. That sounds like she's going to be on stage 3. Delectable Venus on stage 3. Make sure you tip your cocktail waitresses. Moves into Pisces and your sector of travel and study. You have a sector of travel.
So how does Venus move into? Do they collide?
I would imagine. There's a lot of running into each other. Up there
so there's a lot of like
maybe this
fender benders going on. Like
either that or it's just a hookup. Okay. I don't know how they swing, but it kind of sounds like it's a hookup type situation. So I don't know if T is aware of Pisces and everyone else, but what do we got? We got Pisces and Venus. Yeah. That's two of your side ladies. Is that
so? Well, Venus is a planet. And then Pisces is
a constellation, I believe.
Is that what we're talking about? Yeah,
I think so. I really have no idea. I don't.
So I would think a planet with that kind of mass would just crush a constellation made up of stars.
But isn't a constellation much bigger than a planet?
It is. So maybe they just like shoot through it, And just
how's that again? Show the camera
a little piece in it.
Well. Yeah, I think that if we're looking at which one, this is kind of like the your mascots, whether they're gonna. I'm gonna clip that on the video, and I'm gonna just release that as a gift because we have it. But no, I really think that I think Pisces would crush Venus.
Yeah.
If we're in the the WWE constellations and planets, but to continue on. Her presence here can make you more aware of beauty, and perhaps the work of a certain artist or the art of a region will work its magic on you. Have you had any magic worked on you about art?
Well, I'm not into art, so that counts me out. Yeah.
I don't know. I'm thinking that this may be something that you need to maybe engage in. Let's see here. So cultural events could greatly appeal to you at this time too. So a cultural event for you with the changing of the seasons would be applying sunscreen.
Yeah, there you go.
That would be a good cultural event. Yep. We can get all of the fair-skinned folks in a big group and something. There we go. We were back. Sorry. Just apply sunscreen and make some kind of chant.
Yeah, there you go.
I think that would be very good. So let's see here. Where were we? I said still cultural going? Events could. Oh yeah, that's why I chose the week, because we actually get to kind of break this down a little bit. And we didn't even talk about your message or business and enjoying the limelight because of your opportunities. Have you noticed that? Are you in the limelight at work at all?
Not really.
No?
No,
nothing.
Just keep my head down.
Okay, so cultural events could greatly appeal to you at this time. Are there any cultural events appealing to you besides your mass application of sunscreen?
No, just maybe a barbecue. Is that a cultural event?
Well, it could be. Yeah, it absolutely is. If you're in Africa, you just get together and with your tribe and barbecue a goat. And I know that because Sean used to tell me about it.
Yeah.
They would do that. They would literally slaughter a goat and go eat it over a wooden...
Over the spit.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Totally what you would imagine. Yeah. It absolutely is. So, midweek could bring a realization that has quite an impact on you. Midweek, that's yesterday and today. Any major realizations in the last couple days besides the fact that you need to wear sunscreen more often?
I don't think so.
No?
No.
Well, come on.
It's not fitting me either.
If you're going on a journey, be sure to leave in good time because talkative Mercury, I haven't renamed my son Mercury, but so talkative Mercury will be at its slowest prior to turning direct on Thursday. Well, you're directly in line with Mercury. Things may not go quite as planned, so consider this when making any preparations. Are you a prepper?
Mm-hmm.
Are you prepping for Mercury, bro?
No. I plan vacations. That's my extent of prepping.
Yeah, so have you anything this week at all?
No.
What the hell? You're proving this wrong.
Yeah, I'm glad because who goes by these things?
You know what I'm going to do someday, and we should do this sometime for like an episode? I'm going to go to a palm reader and bust this SOB out on her. She's like, well, you're already dead on this one.
Yeah.
Because, I have no lifeline. It's more like a wrist line.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm all fouled up when it comes to that. So, continuing on, if you're going on a journey... Oh, wait, I already said that one. Finally, dynamic Mars. Mars has been dynamic so far as I can ever remember. It's so majestic and dynamic. All kinds of superlatives here. Dynamic Mars enters Gemini. So you want to put that... and a more secluded sector of your chart on Saturday, which could stir up deeper layers of your psyche and bring vivid dreams. Wes's vivid dreams. Hell, we could make that a segment.
Yeah.
No, let's not get into that one off the top of our head. Your vivid dreams are probably of Yadier Molina plowing somebody over.
Cards winning the World Series.
There you go. I don't think that's going to happen.
You know it.
Way. So yeah, that's Wes's horoscope for this week.
Can you imagine if the Cards and Yanks meet in the World Series? What kind of wagers are going to be going on with us?
Oh, it's going to be glorious. Hopefully it happens. I don't know that it will, but I'm hoping.
Yeah.
So here's Leo. I'm Leo. We are July 23rd through August 21st, I believe, somewhere around there, give or take. With the sun, your personal planet. I did not know I had a personal.
Wow,
I have a personal star.
That's pretty special.
I paid some guy on TV. It was an infomercial about 2:30 in the morning back in 1999. I may or may not have had a few cocktails, so I bought a star or 7.
Oh, there you go.
I figured 1 star per finger. I'm doing pretty well there. So yeah, I've got 7 stars. I don't have any stars, but. So with the sun, my personal planet, in the lively sign of Aries, ironically enough, my wife is in Aries, and your sector of new discoveries, you could be in your element. Yes, that could be true. Whatever obligations you need to contend with, be sure to give yourself time for new discoveries and the chance to expand your horizons. I'm always looking to expand my horizons. As a matter of fact, I'm expanding them with the drone. I go up and I went out and shot a listing today with it and had some majestic horizons on the video. That thing's so cool. Get it up there, and I go up about 350 feet, and I was up on Bear Prairie.
Oh yeah,
and it's a pretty nice day. I saw some guy. I believe it's 2 slash piles burning, all kinds of good Washougal stuff. Yeah. So. On Tuesday, that's 2 days ago, lovely Venus. This Venus gal, she's getting around.
Yeah.
Brings an additional focus to a more intense sector of your chart, my chart. I haven't seen my chart yet.
My chart.
Yeah, I know, right? That's exactly right. Her presence here could inspire you to draw closer to someone in a more intimate way. Going back to the Aries, my wife, that fits. Otherwise, I got some splaining to do, as the saying may go. However, go easy because lively Mercury, here's Mercury again, continues to link with dreamy Neptune prior to turning direct on Thursday. What does turning direct mean?
See,
she got the extends.
Beyond me.
Or he did. Whichever it works. That's what they did. They went into the gas station and bought a 40 of OE and some extends. That kind of stuff.
And depends.
Extends, depends. That's for the over 60 crowd. That's like their travel. Some people have a bag full of clothes and whatnot to get out of town. Their go bag extends, depends, and some probably I don't know what else, but. Let's see. However, go easy with wait, did I read that one?
I think so.
Yeah, no, direct. Yeah, Neptune and Mercury are getting freaky. You could meet someone who seems to be just perfect for you, but this person could have a secret that you should know about first. I don't have any secret or people that I've met in the last few days, so I don't think so. No.
Safe there.
I think I'm safe. Get to know him or her better before you decide to take things further. Well, I'm out of there.
Yeah.
Finally, as stirring Mars, I love the description of these planets. I think that this is just some soap opera for planets.
Like the cheap
Romancing
novels.
the Stone.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, right there. Yeah, take you back. I'm sure that was one of your top 80s movies, right?
Yeah, right.
I'm sure you love that. Wasn't that Michael Douglas and Kathleen, what's her name?
Turner,
yeah. See? Yes, I knew I could get it out of you.
I know this stuff, man. I'm just pulling names out.
Let's see. Finally, a stirring Mars moves into Gemini in your social sector on Saturday. Your calendar could explode with activity. My calendar will explode in activity.
Like a flavor explosion?
Yeah, it's the flavor saver.
Yeah.
It's not very long, but it's, I've got it going. I got to keep it trimmed up. Saturday is going to be a big day, it sounds like. We've got baseball practice, the sun. I got some work to do. Got some other, some actual work. So yeah, that's it's a big day. I'm very excited. The intersection of stirring Mars and Gemini. Gemini, that was a really good. That's Aquemini. I was thinking of an Outcast album.
Wow.
You remember the Outcast album, Aquemini?
No.
You didn't buy that one?
Negative.
No. What the hell? Well, I think that and I'm toying around with the different locations that I'm getting these horoscopes, but I think this could be fun. We could actually win the Powerball by checking our horoscopes.
And who writes this stuff? That's what I want to know.
Exactly right. Who decides like, hey, I'm going to make a bunch of stuff up for other people to help them determine how their week or day is going. Because there are people who really buy into this stuff. And they're like, no, it's not. Although I will say, have you ever, looked into... Sorry, I'm drinking my straight vodka here. Into like what your kind of your personality is like based upon your star sign?
No.
I have found that it's pretty spot on for when I read about people and that kind of stuff that I know. It does a pretty good job. It really is kind of eerie how on point some of that stuff can be in the description. So, well, as we we're done with our horoscopes for the week. Hopefully, we'll make it through Saturday with your calendar, my. Whatever big intersection we've got going on there.
There you go.
We'll see how that goes. Hopefully I didn't see... You know what we should do? We should write horoscopes based on barbecue.
Wow.
Yes. We bring up... We think of horoscopes for people based on their birthdays and what decade they were born in, and come up with some kind of weekly horoscope for barbecue. Like... Your ribs, you're going to burn the hell out of your ribs because you put barbecue sauce on too soon, or and this is going to go into our next segment called The Thrill of the Grill, where we talk about the whole idea behind this here segment is to talk about our not relationship, but how we cook a specific piece of meat, whatever our technique is for the barbecue. Mm-hmm. So you tend to use right now, because of your living situation, you use your electric smoker, correct?
Right.
So what is your number one go-to with that, in not so much maybe wings, but I'm talking like pulled pork, brisket, that kind of stuff. Have you done pulled pork yet?
Yes, pulled pork, yes. Brisket, no. I have not done a brisket, but yeah, the pulled pork turned out outstanding.
Okay.
You could put the pork butt in there, let that thing go for, 12 or 14 hours.
Well, let's talk pulled pork then. Yeah. Let's talk the ideas that make good pulled pork. When you're going into it, how do you begin your pulled pork process?
You know what? It's been about a year since I've done it, so I'm trying to think off the top of my head, because I've only done it once.
Really?
And I followed a recipe that I found online.
Okay.
So I didn't screw anything up. So it's not like ingrained in my memory.
Well, one of the beauties of pulled pork is the fact that it is probably the most forgiving of all meats. It is what I would always recommend for your first time type, and it's also one of the most delicious and things, but it's so easy to do.
Yeah.
But it can be, like everything on the barbecue, when you're going into an extended smoking type situation, you want to make sure that, heat control and stuff like that. But you can't really, unless you cook it too fast, you can't screw it up too bad. So this is how I do. I get the pork butt out. Now, there's a couple of different things that I have done, because I've obviously cooked a few pork butts in my time. I have actually done a a marinade on I did it in sofrito, and then I smoked that. But a traditional pork butt, I'm going to make a rub up.
Yeah.
You can make a rub as easy as, I have my own proprietary rub, but if you want to make an easy one, salt, pepper, and then you don't want to go equal parts on that. I'd probably go, maybe 2-to-1 salt to pepper, and then get kind of whatever
I hit it with the brown sugar too.
Oh yeah. But you want to be kind of careful with the brown sugar. You don't want to get overwhelmed with it because it will burn when you're cooking that long. But then that goes back to the heat temperature as well. You want to make sure that your heat isn't getting too high. But so I rub it down, smack it up, flip it, rub it down, and then with said rub. But this is another thing that I like to do. I like to do it the night before because the salt will pull a little bit of moisture out of it. Not a ton. So rub it down and then wrap it in cellophane. It's not a deal killer or anything like that if you don't have a chance to do that. But rub it, and then heat preparation. Like if we have it on the smoker out here, I'm looking for my ultimate temperature to be 250 to 260. That being said, if I have an opportunity, I like to crank the heat up to begin with to like 400, and I will throw it on, and for 15 minutes, I'll crank it at 400. Because what it does is it expands expands the pores in the meat to accept smoke better. So then after 15 minutes, shut it down. Let that bad boy smoke for probably 8 hours. And then from there, you're going to get your squirt bottle or a mop. Now, there's two
Apple
different...
juice. Yeah, that's what I did.
But I also go a more savory route also. I will get minced garlic, and this is a mop. And this is, you can use a washcloth if you want to do this. But they sell mops, like a food mop and whatnot. But like I said, if you want to use an old washcloth, a clean one, preferably. But then, so my mop is going to have like beef stock, some water, Worcestershire sauce, minced garlic. I don't go any apple juice on that. This one doesn't have any apple juice. And then red pepper flake and maybe just a touch of brown sugar in it. Nothing big. Whip it up, and then every hour until we get to 12 to 14, I'm mopping that bad boy with it. And that really adds a really a unique flavor to it. And then it's also fun to be able to check it, but then it makes a good bark. So here's what I will also say to that. If your goal is to shoot for 14 hours, stop mopping at 2 hours before. In any cooking situation, stop the mop before or a couple hours before you want
that to dry and get that bark on there. You don't want that bark. You don't want some dripping wet piece of meat you're taking off the grill smoker.
That's not what I like at all. Right. So if we're going for 12, after so we're getting 3 or 4 good mops on it, and you want to do it as quick as possible because you are letting the heat escape. So usually if I'm going to be in this type of technique, I'm going for the 14 hours to make up for the fact that I have lost that heat.
Yeah.
So then at the end of it, I'll crank it up again. Because again, that lets those juices, they redistribute, all that kind of stuff. This time, when you're going up in heat, it's going to take a little bit longer. So depending on what your fuel situation is or whatever, I'm going to crank it up for 10 to 15 minutes again, pull it off, and then just like we do with every other piece of meat, we're going to let it rest for a little bit.
Yeah.
2 reasons for that. 1, let the juices come back in. Number 2, this thing is going to be so nuclear hot in the middle of it that if you get in it and you touch it, you're going to be in a world of hurt.
Yeah.
It's not going to be any fun at all. So I like to let it sit for a little bit and get yourself some bear claws. Have you ever seen bear claws?
Yeah, where you can shred it.
Oh,
yeah.
It's the key. And one thing that if you want to tell if pulled pork is at the right, I wouldn't say temperature, but if it has been cooked long enough and this is how you can kind of differentiate between your more undercooked people that have not taken the time to understand what pork is supposed to look like. A lot of times it will chunk. You won't get a true pull.
Yeah.
And when the pork is really ready and it's really good and done, it's going to be nice and stringy. It won't be mushy,
right?
But it'll be nice and stringy. Do not cut any fat out of it. Whatever you do, if you do cut fat out of it, and I'm looking straight at the camera for this, I will personally come over to your house and I will smack your hand.
So are you talking pre-smoke?
Anytime.
Oh, okay.
Because I'll see people that will try to trim the fat on the fat cap of the, and also, yes, we need to remember that as well. You always make sure that the fat cap is on top when you put it on the smoker, so that fat renders down over the meat and spreads that joyous flavor that is the fat. So, but otherwise, it's pretty dang easy. It's not that hard to do. Pay attention to that. And then it's also, if you don't want to eat it right then, it's also the best meat to reheat, because when you have the chance to let that smoke sit on it for a day or 10 days, however long it is, in the freezer, it really enhances all of those flavors. So leave it intact. Like, let's say you're going to have a big family event for Memorial Day. Well, you want to smoke that bad boy, a couple weeks before, because that day you're going to be busy. Just take it off and immediately wrap it in aluminum foil and put it in the freezer. That's what I do. I don't let it sit or anything like that. Just throw it in foil, throw it in the freezer. To reheat it, bring it out of the freezer from a frozen state. That's fine. If you don't, if you can take it out the day before, that's good too. But that works a little bit better. But then turn your oven on 300. Get a pan that's got a lip on it and put beef stock in the bottom of it. Cover it with foil with a little cut in the top of it to let the steam out, and put it in the oven at 300 for, if it's stone cold frozen, probably a couple hours.
Yeah.
If it's not frozen, if it's defrosted, you probably an hour and a half, and then do your pulling from there. If you don't have bear claws, which most folks don't, then go right for the forks.
Yeah.
Just 2 big forks. If you've got those big salad forks or whatever it might be. So no, those are that's a little bit of a demystification for anyone that's out there looking for pulled pork, and you can if you're going to go the route of marinating, because I've done carnitas tacos. That's why I did the sofrito, did the carnitas, and we have a recipe on kineticchaos.com for sofrito. So go check that out. Throw it in a marinade for a day, pull it out, and with that one you could put it in the oven as well. Just put it in a roaster dish, cook it for 6 or 8 hours at a low temperature, 300. Awesome carnitas tacos. So check that out. And if you guys have questions and whatnot, I'd really like to make this a recurring theme for us. Barbecue is a big part of our life. Meat is, all that kind of stuff, because we're guys, right?
That's right.
And so each week I'm going to try to cover a different, whether it's a meat technique or anything like that, and we may expand on it on the cooking show as well.
And one thing that I did a couple times in the last couple of years that was awesome, but now I can't really do it anymore because it involves pasta, is the smoked mac and cheese. Was insanely good. I have a recipe that I use. I do it in the crock pot with condensed cheddar cheese soup and sour cream and a whole bunch of, I usually use like 3 different kinds of cheeses. Anyway, let that all come together, and basically right when it's done, and then I dump it into a aluminum disposable tray kind of thing, and then slide it in the smoker and let it go for about a half an hour in the smoker.
Save that. We'll do this one as that'll be another one. So these things that you think about, we'll put those on the docket for sure, because we want to spread the wealth. I have quite a bit of experience with it, and the neat thing is that we have different experiences when it comes to cooking this stuff. So not everyone is going to have a real wood smoker. Not everyone is going to have an electric smoker. Some people are going to have a gas grill, and we have options for all of these things. If you're going to cook a pork butt and you have a gas grill, that's fine. All you have to do is turn only one bank of the heat on and put it on the, everything is about offsetting the heat.
Yeah.
That's the main key whenever you're doing the pulled pork. Make sure that you offset that heat so that you're not getting the direct heat underneath.
Flame on there.
Yeah, you don't want that. So, and like I said, as long as you can control the temperature. Oh, here's a quick tip as well for anyone that wants to know what the ambient temperature inside your cooking chamber really is. Take a grapefruit or a large orange, slide your meat thermometer into said orange or grapefruit, and set that right next to your piece of meat. In about an hour or so, that is going to tell you what the temperature is inside your cooking chamber. So you don't have to rely on the thermometers on the outside of the grill, because those are, after probably 10 uses, most of the time those are going to, because a thermometer has a little thing in the bottom of it that gets knocked out of whack.
Yeah.
And so you really want to know what that temp is. Do the trick of the orange or the grapefruit, and that's a really good way to understand what the heat side is of or inside your grill. And you can use either the wireless meat thermometers or one with the wire, and just let the wire run out and set it next to your grill there. So yeah, there you go. Again, if you're on a Weber, same thing. Offset everything. Webers are a little more difficult because the way the heat works, and they're not like a green egg. Green eggs just lock down completely, and there's no issues whatsoever with the air getting in or not, because that porcelain really keeps it insulated. So I as we cruise along here, we've got man motives here. We like guy stuff. Would you ever own a motorcycle? Are you a motorcycle guy?
Not really, no.
Why not?
It's never appealed to me. I mean, if anything, you just go for like the cruiser, like a Harley or something like that.
But, you'd be a Harley guy, not a crotch rocket type guy?
Nah.
Really?
Yeah.
See, if I had two hands, I'm fairly certain that I would kill myself on a crotch rocket, because I don't like to go up in the air, but I mean, I'm afraid of heights. I can deal with it and whatnot, but I would much rather go very, very fast on the ground.
Yeah.
Do you think that they're a menace on the road, or are you a fan of them? And
well, it depends on the operator. I mean, they can be.
The operator. There you go.
Yeah.
That's exactly. Oh, that's very true. You got any big plans for spring break?
No, just housework.
Housework,
housework, and I'm working too, so I'm not taking the week off next week. No. So I'm trying to fit housework in between work.
How much vacation do you get? As he thinks.
I don't know.
You what? You don't know how much vacation you get?
I just take it as it comes. I don't know. It's I get, oh man, what is it? Like 11 hours per paycheck.
Oh, that's pretty dang good. Wow, that's
which is
really good.
PTO rolled in, sick and vacation. But I never call out sick, so I just bank it all for vacation. So
no, that's at 26 paychecks. You're doing pretty dang good. Yeah. That's some good vacation time. Now we the spring break is always you never know what the weather's going to be like around here, so it's always a crapshoot as to whether it's going to be a one where you want to go outside and do stuff, or if you want to pack up and go to a sunny location down south. I think that And along the lines of the vacation thing and kind of seguing into that, did you see the thing in I think, was it Wall Street Journal, or somebody broke down a couple that makes $500,000 a year?
Somebody talked about that on Twitter, but I saw that screenshot.
Did you see that?
The 3 vacations and
3 vacations.
It was $18,000, so $6,000 per vacation. So 6,000 times 3, there's $18,000 they spent on vacation.
Who are these people that take $3,000, $6,000? And I mean, it's not that a $6,000 vacation is that hard to do, because vacation's expensive,
right?
But to portray anyone that makes $500,000 a year, because at the end of it, I think it was $7,200 was all they had left over.
Yeah,
and whoever wrote this I mean, they got flamed.
Yes, they did.
Because it was almost like they were being sympathetic.
Yeah, exactly.
Towards somebody that makes $500,000 a year. The folks out there making $50,000 a year that can have vacations and cars and stuff like that as well are laughing their rear ends off.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I would do.
Oh, and they had car payments too. They had
it was a Land Cruiser, which is an $80,000 Toyota.
Exactly.
And then they had, I think, an Audi or a BMW.
A BMW. I think it was. Yeah,
it was but it wasn't even an expensive BMW. I actually thought the payments on the cars were kind of low.
Yeah.
I think it was only like $10,000 a year in car payments, and I was like, I can't see that those two cars would be under $850 a month.
Right.
I would imagine, maybe if you're on a lease or something, but then you're getting tied up in, here's 5,000 miles, and every mile after that will be $8.52. Which is how leases make their money.
Exactly.
They can be a good thing, but they can just fleece the everyone. Oh man. Dad fails. You have any ideas about what it is to have a dad fail? What's a dad fail? I'm talking about in fun stuff. Mm-hmm. I'm going to give you one of my biggest meltdowns ever. We're at our old house, and I have this little Weber grill, and my dad, my bio dad, made hamburgers. Very special, all kinds of, he was like the Swedish chef and so I decided, one of the things that I really wish that I could go back and ask my dad, he's passed away a long time ago, was what his recipe was, because I could never remember it. So I tried to recreate it one time. Had a couple beers while I was doing it, because there's something about when you pull the barbecue out, you have this inherent need to have a beer. I have had to really, really push that down in myself lately, because when the grill comes out or I take the cover off of it, I want to crack a beer really bad. And I don't usually, as I said a couple weeks ago, I think I've not even drank a case of beer that I bought back in August or September. But it's still ice cold and all that. So I make these up, and usually when I make the patties up, I try to put them in the freezer to freeze up a little bit, just to firm.
Yeah.
I did that for a little bit. Not long enough. So I go out, and I may not have had as good a handle on my anger. Not so much anger, just being pissed off at something. There's a big difference, right? And I put these burgers on, and somewhere in the mixture of the Swedish chefing, I made them too thin. And the burgers literally fell down in between the grates of the grill.
Yeah.
I was absolutely livid. That is one of my biggest dad fails, because I may or may not have dumped the barbecue over right there and taken out a little aggression against it. Because
set the yard on fire.
No, I didn't set my yard on fire, although I could have if I would have done it out in the grass. Luckily, I was still on the patio. But so to paint a picture of a dad fail, have you ever had anything like that where you're like, because my big thing was I was touting these burgers that I was and this is pre my barbecue learning and all that kind of stuff. This is probably 2005-ish, somewhere around there. Absolute meltdown. I mean, this was like, I almost as mad as the time that I lit my Yankee jersey on fire. That was not a good night either.
Was that an A-Rod jersey?
No, that was when they lost in. They had 3-0 against the Bo.
Oh yeah,
they lost 4 in a row.
That's a good one. Yeah.
You have any adventures like that?
You know what? I don't really off the top of my head that I can think of right now.
You haven't melted down ever?
No.
Oh, I don't believe
I'm
that.
pretty composed for the most part.
The only thing you're composing is farts.
So, on the food topic, are you a meatloaf guy?
Oh yes.
Okay.
Huge meatloaf guy.
Not the artist meatloaf, but food meatloaf. Yeah. Okay.
But bad out of hell, wasn't that it?
Yeah, that's right.
Or something
bad
like
out of hell. Yeah.
There you go.
I saw a recipe online for a meatloaf that I want to try. I haven't gotten around to it yet. It is you take out like a loaf pan, obviously, and you line it with bacon. So you got the bacon
in the inside.
In the inside, yep. And then you dump some ground beef in there, but just a little bit, and you press it so it makes a thin layer.
Okay.
So you got like maybe, an inch, half an inch to an inch of beef all on the bottom and all the way around the sides, leaving yourself still with a big cavity in the center.
Yeah.
And in that cavity, you take a bunch of those little round Baby Bell cheeses.
Okay.
And just stack them vertically, single file, coming down the entire...
So we're talking cheese stuff.
Yes. So they're probably like 10 of these little circular cheese guys stacked vertically coming down the entire length of this pan.
Okay.
And then you take more beef and you pack it around those cheese to fill out the rest.
Wait, hold on. Paint this for me. Are you stacking them up vertically?
Vertically. So they're vertical, boom, boom, boom,
So you've got like 30 of these cheeses.
Yeah, I said 10. It's probably more, not quite 30, but it's probably more than 10. It's probably like...
the little bell ones,
like
size
like
of
that.
$1, silver dollar?
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Okay.
So, but they're pretty thick, they're good.
And you're stacking them up, so you probably get...
You're stacking them vertically coming down the pan.
Okay, so there's only one layer of them, though?
Yeah, so they're standing tall.
Okay.
Exactly, standing vertical, standing upright. Yeah. And you're stacking them side by side the entire length of the pan.
Okay.
And then you're just packing more ground beef in on top of it to close it in, and then you throw the bacon, the bacon that's hanging out, you throw that up on top. And then bake it. So
that sounds like a tremendous idea.
So you got like basically a tunnel full of cheese going down through that's going to melt. So when you cut into it, there's going to be goo everywhere. So that sounds pretty good. It looked pretty good on the recipe online.
Can you imagine making a sandwich out of that?
Yeah.
But you would have to have it like right as soon as you cooked it.
Yeah, yeah.
You would. Oh wow! But you could do that with. That would be a great way to make a meatball sub too. And then put the Baby Bell cheese around the meatball.
Yep.
And
that would be good too.
Now, when you make your meatloaf, do you dress up the beef or you just go straight out the package? When are you adding like an egg and breadcrumbs
and breadcrumbs and that kind of stuff? Yeah. And then there was something. Oh, one thing that we've done before. It's kind of a funky thing. It just gives it a little extra flavor and nutrition. Is
whenever you have to do nutrition in air quotes, it's probably not that nutritional.
Is shred some carrots.
Really?
Like finely shredded carrot.
Okay.
Like almost like you're doing a carrot cake, real fine shreds, and dump that in the ground beef and get that all mixed in the ground beef.
What is it to sweeten it up?
I think so. It's an Alton Brown recipe. We've used a whole bunch, and it has finely shredded carrot in it. It's good. You don't really taste the carrot, but I don't know what if it's to add maybe some sweetness to it.
It's got to, because that's carrots is one of the secrets of hot sauce and how they sweeten a hot sauce without adding sugar to it, because carrots are very sweet. And so, in fact, one of my hot sauce recipes, I use carrots to really make that. Because you don't. It's really a weird thing where you don't get that carrot like taste
flavor,
at all. But it does. It certainly brings a certain amount of flavor to it for sure.
One more thing I just thought of while we're on the food topic is we were watching something on the Cooking Channel the other day, and it was some restaurant they were visiting back in Baltimore. So crabs, of course, it was the old school style where they just dump the stuff on the table on parchment paper. They dump all the stuff like a crab boil kind of, But in this case, it wasn't. I mean, they had the option of doing the whole thing with the potatoes and the sausage and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. But this one was just straight crab only, and it was whole. Soft shell? No, Maryland blue crab. And it was whole crab, and it was meant to be family style. So I think like 4 or more people, and you ordered them by the dozen.
Really?
So they showed you how they cooked it. They like a big commercial sized sheet pan, and they lined up a dozen crab on there and fired it into a oven and steamed it.
Oh, okay.
And then they just come out and just dump a dozen whole crab on your table.
Have you ever done a seafood boil?
Yeah. Yeah, Tia and I did that in Seattle.
Boy. I mean, you yourself.
Oh, no. I've never personally, no.
You so we actually have a post, I think it's on KCP, that I put mine up there. Yep. Holy moly. We may need to do that this summer because that is absolutely one of the most amazing meals ever. If you're into the seafood thing, because I've got I'm doing the scallops and I'm doing the crab and everything.
Andouille and corn and the whole banana.
The andouille, though, is, to me, I don't like super spicy andouille.
Yeah. No,
I like the flavor of andouille, but some of them they're like, I'm going to make that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like that.
Yeah.
But
we should go in like 50-50 and do that, because Tia is all over that stuff too. She loves that stuff.
You got to have your corn, though.
Yep.
Because the corn, it absorbs all of those flavors, and then you get this. You got to have your seafood boil. Zatarans usually, they're
like the Old Bay kind of stuff. Yeah,
Old Bay or Zatarans or both of them, whatever you want to do. But and then or do this: take the sausage, smoke it first, then for not very long, like 15 minutes. It's amazing how fast, like you were talking about the macaroni and cheese.
Yeah, it takes on the smoke.
Yes, like baked beans. Mm-hmm. So I'll smoke baked beans, but only like, well, first of all, I try to use some like burnt ends and stuff in it, or from pulled pork. But absolutely no longer than 30 minutes, preferably like 15 or 20. Yeah. Then take that and put that sausage into the crab boil.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so good.
We got to do that.
Yeah, that would be a really, really good idea. So, well, that just about puts us at 1 hour on the dot. What do you think?
I'm hungry.
Yeah,
that's what
I think
I'm thinking.
This is what is going to happen every show is that we're going to do it before we eat dinner, and we're going to want to go eat everything in the house.
Yeah.
The one upside is that I believe I have tacos going for dinner tonight. Wow. Taco Thursday. We're flipping it up.
Yeah.
Going for the Thursday. What do you have on tap for tonight?
I don't think anything exciting.
After we talk about all this amazing food, and then we go.
It's like a letdown. Afterwards.
Yeah. What if you go home and there's like tuna sandwiches or something?
That's all right. I'm not picky. But.
No, we had tuna sandwiches. Tuna melts.
Yeah.
Oh, man, I love the tuna melt.
But we need this weather to turn for good, so we can get out there and get cranking on the.
We got to get outside and have some fun with that. Yeah. So, well, thank you very much, everyone, for joining us for the first episode of the Forefathers podcast on KCP. As always, you can find us on the Instagrams at Kinetic Chaos Productions, on Twitter at Kinetic Chaos Podcast. Facebook, if you're watching us out there. Otherwise, just search Kinetic Chaos Productions, kineticchaos.com. You are at 2599 on the Twitterverse, or Kinetic Wes, and I am at One Hand Man. Or on Insta at Slater98671. All of the socials, you got to get that stuff out there.
Yeah.
Anyway, shout out to everyone going into the weekend. Hope you have a fun one. If you have any barbecue stories that you want to share with us, please hit us up on the website. Any of the socials that we just rang off, we'd love to hear your barbecue stories. If you have questions about barbecue, shoot them our way, because if there's anything you have questions about or wondering more about, we'd be happy to answer that as well. So this has been, like I said, the first episode of the Forefathers podcast. For Wes, I'm Will. We go.
See ya.
Facebook, thank you very much for joining us.
Thanks, guys. Join us on Monday
for
YouTube.
Yeah, I didn't even bring that
it's
up.
All good.
YouTube channel. Check us out around 8:30. That's when we're broadcasting. That show is going to be about 30 minutes long, 30 to 45, depending on what the day's takes are, or the day's story. So we'll see you then.
See you later. Thanks for joining us.
And now they wait for me to go over.
Walk on over.
Yeah. We just watch you looking at your phone.
Checking scores.
There you go.